This is the book that I'll be reviewing for today's video, so let's go ahead and get started. Love That Counts. A young woman runs from defeat and finds victory in Christ's love, faith of the unborn. So a few comments here, just the T in that and the C in counts, I would probably capitalize. And then also, I'm not sure why faith is capital, but nothing else is. So I would maybe just go over your capitalization and see if that works for you. But overall, I think this is a very good start to your title. High content books are going to have a different title than low content books because you aren't going to add so many keywords in typically because higher content books are just simply different. So I think you have a great start there. Your author name is simply your name, which is perfectly fine. I did click on your name and it doesn't seem like you have an author page. So I definitely recommend creating an author page if you haven't done so already. Moving on to your price. $12.99 is a bit steep for a paperback. However, it's not like unheard of. You do have a lot of pages, 181 pages, and it's 6x9. So, I mean, that probably is a decent price for how big the book is, but that just might be something that is deterring people away. A lot of paperbacks are under $10, and usually hardcovers are the ones that are higher. But since you have a lot of pages, it makes sense that it costs more to make the book. So I don't think it's an outrageous price, but some people might be a little bit hesitant to buy the book off of that. I'm not saying you need to change it. You definitely know what the value of this book is. I'm just noting that. Your description, Amelia Lowry, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, is a 19-year-old young woman who finds herself pregnant and alone, rejected by her boyfriend and mother. Amelia thinks that the only way out is through, I'm not going to state these words because I think that might actually be against like YouTube monetization if we talk about controversial topics. So please don't start any fights in the comments. I'm just going to skip over some of the words here. But then she meets Katharina, another young woman who is a few years older than herself and who has recently opened a bed and breakfast. Will Katharina's love for Christ and others help Amelia choose? Will Amelia learn about true love? So a few comments here. I'm not going to keep reading, but I would just go over your capitalization. The H here doesn't need to be capital. The M here doesn't need to be capital. And I would just double check all of that. But other than that, I think your description gives a good idea of what the book is actually about. So I think that's perfectly fine. Moving on to your cover, I think your cover could use some revamping. So I like the flower. I get what you're trying to go with there, but Love That Counts here. I would have the T capital and the C capital, and I would probably change the font. A young woman runs from defeat and finds victory in Christ's love. So I just think that the cover could use some sort of finessing here. Like maybe if designing isn't your first love or first thing, then maybe hiring somebody else. I mean, I'm not the best cover designer ever, like for sure. And some books I definitely could use some help on. So this flower background is really pretty. However, it's kind of blurry and I'm not really sure how it completely relates. Like I get like how you're trying to make it positive and pretty and stuff. So like I totally understand that. But I just think that you might be able to have a different cover that might kind of give more of an idea of what the book is actually about. Because when I first looked at this cover, it's really hard to read this bottom part here. So all I see is Love That Counts in a flower. So it doesn't really give me an idea of what this book is going to be about. I see that you also have the title here aligned on the left. I would maybe like center it or just change it up a little bit. So I think the cover might be a reason you aren't getting as many sales either. But I think your name is perfectly fine. I think that's good how you have it there. I would just kind of adjust either the background or how the words are, maybe a different font, something new. Let's look at your back cover. I think your back cover is pretty well done. Everything is left aligned again, which is fine. I think that's good for the back cover, and you have a bit about yourself and then about the book. It is a little hard to read parts of it with the flower in the background, so I would maybe if you change the cover, then it would change the back as well. But I think the back is actually pretty good, so I don't really see any issues with that. This book is book 1 of 2. So that's really great that you have a series and that you wrote this whole book. I'm just going to scroll down to your BSR. You do have a BSR of about 1.1 million right now, and you do have 3 ratings on this book. So you are making sales, which is great, and you are getting reviews. So you should be getting sales and you should be getting royalties within your dashboard. So I'm just going to go to the look inside feature really quick. I mean, of course, my computer, for some reason, likes to freak out whenever I try to do this. But that's okay. We're going to get it to load because I think this is a huge part of when people buy your book or not. So let's scroll down. Love that counts. Like, I love this here. So maybe you have Kaylee E keys here. Maybe I would add the E here as well. Kind of depends what author name you're going for. Are you including your middle initial or are you not? Love that counts dedication. This is kind of off-centered, so I would center those. And scrolling down, acknowledgements. That's great. Like, all your alignment looks great. I didn't actually read through all of that. Prologue, your spacing looks all right. I'd maybe indent here the first one of the prologue. Let's see. You have some different font here, and it looks like it's italicized. This is still the prologue. Chapter 1. So again, I would indent here. I'm not sure if I would... I think this is all italicized. I'm not sure I would italicize the whole book. But you seem to have pretty good spacing here, and you've put a lot of effort into this book. So, awesome job. Your interior does look mostly overall pretty well done. So let's go ahead and look at some of the keywords you sent me. I only looked up a few of them. So you did love and women's rights. So these aren't really keywords that are going to help you get searched like for your book. Higher content is a bit trickier sometimes if you're creating a book off of what you personally want to create rather than finding a great niche for it. So it seems like this book you created because it's something in your heart that told you to create it. And that is perfectly fine. You should be following your passion and doing what you feel is your purpose in life. However, you run into the issue of not having a validated niche, and that can kind of be a problem if you're trying to get sales and you don't want to run ads or haven't been doing a marketing campaign. So the keywords you have here are not good for like niching down. Like if I was trying to find a niche to get into, I would not use these keywords to validate niche because over 200,000 results for love, 100,000 results for women's rights, and the scores are 17 and 22. Like that is just not good at all. This one has 0 independently published. This one has 2. Average BSRs are low, but that's because they're like kind of unrelated. Like this love could be literally anything, and women's rights could be anything as well. Like I think this is a movie. The first one that shows up, like, is not related to your book at all. So I don't think the niche is validated unless you have different keywords that you use, but off of these, it is not a validated niche. However, like I said, like you don't have to create books simply because you have a validated niche. Like if this is a book that you feel like you had to create and you really wanted to put this out and you wanted to have this series, then yeah, go for it. Like this is amazing and you are making sales. You just might have to work a bit harder to get searchable within Amazon because people might not be able to search the book so easily. So you might need to do some more advertising or some marketing, things like that. But overall, amazing start. Congratulations on having your series done. And I just think this is great. It's so hard to create books. So it is just, I think it's great that you have 2 books already published. That is a ton of work. So congratulations on that. And I hope this video was helpful. If you're listening and you'd like to have your own book reviewed, and you can submit as many as you like. So if I've already reviewed your book and you want another video, you can go ahead and submit again. Please check out the form in the description below. I don't guarantee that I get to all of the books, but I try to, and it's completely free to do. So I appreciate all of the support so much. Thank you very much for watching and listening.